Hello, friends. In day to day life, many people are using artificial intelligence in multiple ways by using ChatGPT or Copilot or using Grok and using Perplexity to maximize the benefit of creating the content. So, here, how this AI is reshaping this Scrum and product delivery. How can we use this ChatGPT or Copilot or the Grok and Perplexity to speed up our task and to deliver our product at early to the markets? How can we use this one to reduce our reduce our effort? We'll discuss in detail in this video. In the current agile process, the team members are spending hours and hours in estimating the user stories, in prioritizing the user stories, in grooming the user stories. Okay, and but still at the end of the sprint, we are not completing our goals. In the sprint, we have five ceremonies, right? Like daily sprint, sprint planning, sprint grooming sessions we have, and sprint retrospective and sprint review meetings, right? So in a sprint, at least once or twice we do the grooming session, and once the sprint planning session we do to to prioritize these stories, to groom these stories, and to estimate these stories, and to keep the backlog ready for the next sprint. We spend nearly around every sprint we spend nearly around approximately around 8 to 10 hours. 8 to 10 hours using multiple. If you calculate the summation of all the hours of across all the meetings, we spend around 10 hours for every sprint to groom these user stories and prioritize and estimating user stories. Okay, but still, we'll not able to complete our user stories, and BAs spend a lot of time in rewriting the acceptance criteria based on the review comments from the developers and QAs and product owners. And product owner also spends a lot of time in prioritizing the user stories by taking the feedback from the stakeholders, everyone. Estimating user stories takes more time because estimation depends upon the skill set of the persons. Okay, and how complexity of the user story, it varies, right? So if you can use this AI to reduce our manual effort, so how this will be, we'll discuss again in this, how this AI is transforming the agile scrum and product delivery to speed up our task. So major challenges in the current agile world is estimation is inconsistency. As I said before, one developer is giving 3 points as estimation, another developer gives 5 points as a estimation. So again, there is a conflict between the user story points. So we'll discuss again around 5 to 10 minutes why there is a inconsistency user story estimation. So and prioritization as well. So product owner has to discuss multiple times with the stakeholders and BAs to prioritize user stories. And after that, you have to groom the session with the developers, work on the priorities estimation. You have to explain each and every user story with the acceptance criteria as well, right? So after all this happens in a sprint, right? So how can we use this the chat GPT or maybe Copilot to maximize our efforts, maximize our benefits, okay, to speed up our delivery in this sprint. Okay, if AI is helping us in providing the estimation for the user stories, or in writing the user story acceptance criteria for us, and backlog refinements, and in prioritizing user stories and providing the test cases as well. And for the developer's perspective, if you give a the raw code, like sample at least the draft code for the developers so that they can complete their dev task it early. So if you can use this chat GPT to deliver all this at the initial stage, right? So we can complete our sprint at early stage with the planned sprint, planned user stories can be completed. Okay, you can achieve our goals as well, right? So I will explain you in ChatGPT how can we achieve all this. Here I will explain you practically how to use the ChatGPT to create the user stories, and to write the acceptance criteria, to estimate the user stories, and to prioritize them, and to write the test cases for the QA purpose, and to give a sample or the draft code for the developers to improve their uh, to speed up their task. Okay. Quickly, I will give one sample. One of the example is this one. Yes, see this one. So I'm giving a prompt as give me 10 user story list for web browser development. So when I click on this one, so it is thinking to draft the user stories. Okay. So in just less than 5 seconds, it has given the 10 user stories in in a user story format. User story one, open the web page. As the user, I want to enter the URL and open a website so that I can browse online content. And tab management where I can use the tabs, right? I open the tab and close and switch the between the tabs. I can browse multiple websites at the same time. And user story back and forward navigation should be available within the browser so that I can navigate back and forward. Okay, I can revisit previously and viewed pages easily. Refresh and reload the pages. I can refresh the web page. I can latest content is displayed. And bookmark pages. So several user stories has been drafted here. So I want the acceptance criteria for each and every user story and given in then format. Okay. It is giving a hint to me what next action to be done. Okay, so I will take the first one. So I want user stories to be drafted in the with the acceptance criteria as well. So let me give this prompt. Okay, so here it is given the user stories with the acceptance criteria as well. The first user story is open a web page. Acceptance criteria is given a user, given the browser is open, when the user enters a valid URL in the address bar and presses enter, then browser should load and display the requested web page. Given the user enters an invalid URL, when the press enter, then see. So it is given a right format. So for all the 10 user stories. But if you want to write, if you ask a business analyst to write all the user stories, it takes minimum of a day. But here you got in just in a minute time with the list of user stories with the acceptance criteria is written. So what else we want? So we want to maybe prioritize these user stories. Okay. So we'll go with the user story prioritization. Okay. So it will prioritize based on the Moscow analysis. The must, should, could, and okay, would be possible like that. So yeah, the must have feature, open a web page and tab management and backward and forward navigation and refresh the rail. And the priority two should be browser search bar, bookmark web pages, download the files, and P3, P4 as given here. Okay. So story sprint one sprint. So it has given it has splitted the user stories across the sprints based on the velocity of the uh, previous velocity of the sprint. So sprint one, sprint two, sprint three also is given, and we'll go for the estimation. Okay, for each user story, how much effort is required to give uh, to complete the user story. As per the Fibonacci sequence, the open web page it takes around 8 story points. Why it takes your story point? Because it requires the network calls, rendering the engine integration and header handling. This was the reason I'm giving 8 user story points. If you take the tab management, it is given 13 story points. Multi-tab handling, memory management, UI complexity. That was the reason 8 points. If you take this one, it is very 3 points only. Why? Simple trigger, reload the existing page, network request and refresh. So it is story points is given. Okay. So here total story points is 76 story points for us. Okay. Sprint one is approximately 24 to 26 story points we have picked. Open web page, back and forward navigation, refresh, reload, and bookmark pages and setting up the panel. 26 story points. And sprint 2 approximately 23 25. Sprint 3 23 to 26 story points. In total 3 sprints you can uh, complete our development. So if we take the full sprint planning, how can we plan our sprint? Okay. If we give a inputs like that, okay, I have a sprint team of around 80 members, out of which around 6 members are developers and few people are QAs, one scrum master, one is a product owner. Then it will calculate the if you give the holidays for the sprint as well, right? So it will give the sprint planning properly with the available capacity as well. If you take the team size of 6, okay, it is considered as a two full-time developers and two backend developers and two is the QS. Okay, two is the front end developers, two is the back end developers, and two QS are there. Sprint length is 2 weeks, 20 story points. So I can complete everything in the three sprints. Sprints required is three. Okay, it has given like this. Okay, sprint one, what are the what I can deliver, and what is the QA scope, what are the dependencies in the sprint one. Sprint two as well, it is given like this. Sprint three, sprint three as well. So what next can do? I can ask for the QS. For QS, they write their own test cases, right? So I can take a help from the chat GPT. So give me the detailed Excel format test cases as well, so that you can reduce effort of the test cases preparation. Okay. So it is analyzing to draft the test cases. Sure. So it has given the in the Excel format. So I'll show you later again. So here you can take the help further again to create Java code for the browser APIs and automation Jenkins automation test case preparation as well. It will give the Selenium and Cucumber framework setup. We'll go with this one. Okay. So with the framework also given for the automation purpose. Okay, so after this, I can go for the step definition file as well. Okay, step definition file also is given to you. Okay, but to complete all this task in each individual wise, it takes a minimum of around 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, to create a dat version at least. But here you got everything in maximum around in 5 minutes time. This is how you can simplify and speed up your work so that you can deliver your product on time and very early stages as well, so that you can your product can compete to the market early. Okay, we'll go back to our the PowerPoint again. You can based on the hints, still you can proceed further to help to take the help from ChatGPT. Okay. So as we see in the previous video, so how we have utilized the ChatGPT to maximize our benefits in the sprint. So at the end, so what happens here? So are we replacing the sprint completely? No. So what I say is, it won't replace your Scrum teams or the sprint team, but it would replace your slow estimation process. Okay, as we discussed right previously. So it is estimation is given you in just around 5 to 10 seconds. So each user story how much effort is required, and the reason for giving the more estimates or the less use estimates, like story point wise, like a 3 points, 5 points, and 13 pointers, and the manual grooming session, right? And we can automate this grooming session as well with very 80 to 100% accuracy in rewriting the acceptance criteria, and guest based prioritization also can avoid it, and we can prioritize user stories with accuracy. Why that priority is, why the user story is more priority than other user story. Okay, you can sprint plan it based on the capacity. Also you can plan it. I've shown you how the sprint planning can be done, and in how many sprints you can complete our overall project. Also you can who can plan it using the AI. So using the benefit of using the chat GPT or the copilot is the faster delivery of our user stories, the better quality and consistent velocity across the sprints. And AI is already reshaping the agile, as I said, right? So in the agile, in the Scrum agile, right? Many people are using now uh, Copilot to help you out in development, debugging the skills, debugging the code as well. Okay, so teams adapting this AI deliver better, faster, and smarter products. So I request you please try to utilize these AI tools in your company, in your organization, whichever the tool is allowed in your organization. So try to use them and help to create these test cases and automating your test scripts. And for developers as well, try to debug your code and write the draft code as well for you. And I request for the developers as well, they can use it for rewriting user stories and prioritizing and estimating the user stories as well, so that you can do the better, faster, and smarter delivery. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe for the more AI and agile videos. Comment if you do want any more related topics. I'll try to make the video next time. Thank you.